good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching WI TV. You're welcome to another edition of News Review. My name is Ahmed Abbas Olatunji, but you can call me Sidon J. And you know the sponsor for this show is Nokpa Abbas and Kim Victor Nigeria Enterprises. I'm not the only one in the studio this morning.
Good morning, viewers all over the world. My name remains the same, Ambassador Rochimi Orilua, son of the prophetess, the man who resembles Wiki.
All right, I wish you guys a good day, because today it's another day to make money, to make goodness in life. But then this is December time, December period. You know, people do run skater just to meet up with their needs.
People want to travel back to their village to celebrate with the Lord.
Some of them are going to show off, you know.
But I believe this time is not the time to show off.
Exactly.
Based on the
current
situation of the country now. So anybody that is going out there to show up,
but that does not
will definitely come back to drink his guy.
People from East doesn't care about the hardship. Some of them will even borrow cars to go to their village just to go and show off for that December period.
On the person that they are borrowing the car from. What's the maintenance culture of a car now? Then how much are they going to use to fuel the car from Lagos to the East?
Well, you know, I will do it every weekday. I'll be starting with Punch newspaper as usual today. Kaduna village bombing, death toll, it's 120. Villages alleged military bombed twice. Oldest history book says Yoruba not Benin founded Lagos. Retired police superintendent turns beggar in Niger State. Federal government budgets 138 million naira to tackle fake news, print calendars. Then on Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu Shetima aids to spend 15.961 billion naira on local foreign trips. Federal government deficit spending rises 11% to 7.88 trillion naira. DHQ apologizes and says terrorists were killed in Ligama. Southwest Monarchs elect Ondo Oba as president. Then on Daily Post newspaper, Tinubu government under scrutiny over Dubai summit. Police officers allegedly 10 kidnappers abduct hotel staff, demand ransom in Rivers. Death toll, it's 120. Survivor alleged military bombed twice. No Christmas if workers aren't paid 35,000 naira. Oshiomole to NLC and federal government. Let's go on a short commercial break now. When we're back, we'll talk more on some of the headlines. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. You're welcome back from that short commercial break, and that's our sponsor, Nokpa Abbas and Kim Victor Nigeria Enterprises. We'll be starting with the first headline that says Tinubu Shetima Aid spent 15.961 billion naira on local foreign trips according to 2024 budget.
Well, I believe it's their time, and because nobody is out there to checkmate them. So they believe they can just do whatever they like. That's the level of what Nigeria has turned to, and the level of how our leaders are being corrupted today. For a budget of just for local and foreign trip, for the kind of money to have been allocated for the traveling, in fact, you could see, based on what I do say, that the present administration and no politician that is out there that always have the love of the masses in mind.
Well, to me, let's look at the budget for the 2024. Even with the fact that it is trillions of naira, I'm looking at it like, why is it that the aid Just the aids, spending 15 billion
15
naira.
billion naira.
So well, not to talk of the president and the vice president itself.
How much will that cost?
Exactly, and that was what we were talking about yesterday. That the vice president said they want to build this house with 15 billion, while
billion naira.
putting 5 billion naira as a student loan allocation.
Why the vice president is on salary?
Exactly.
Lecturers on salary. Have you ever seen the federal government building house for the lecturers or the teachers?
Well, let's go to the body of the news. President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and their aides at the presidential villa are to spend the sum of 15.96 billion naira on international and local travels in 2024. The figure is contained in the 2024 appropriation bill, now being considered by the National Assembly. The breakdown of the figures show that President Tinubu will spend the sum of 7.630 billion naira on travels, with the bulk of the money to be spent on foreign trips. Now, I want to ask this question. Why do we have our own private jet for the president?
For the president. Maybe the money is part of what they are going to use in foiling the private jet. One. Then two, when they travel out there, you know they will have to book an hotel, lodge in an hotel. Eat good food at the end of the day.
Why the masses are eating what they see.
Eating what they see. So the money is, I believe, is not too much for
but
them.
Sir, I feel even if you want to go to heaven,
maybe the National Assembly,
it is free.
Maybe the National Assembly needs to have some amount of money to join the money.
7.630
billion. You could recall when Akpabio was elected as the Senate president, a lot of Nigerians are coming out there to react. Somebody who has a case to answer was emerged as the Senate president. If we have a bunch of liars, bunch of armed robbers ruling the affairs of the country, what do you expect the country to turn to in future? I do say it, that one day we just wake up and discover that the whole Nigeria has been sold out. Well,
the problem we have here now is, no matter what the House is going to say, because it has not been yet approved by the House, but no matter what
the plan will definitely be approved. That's the problem. The man in question were those that elected them into that position, and nobody that is in the Senate House or in the House of Representatives that will want to go against the rule of his master.
But then I'm not seeing this as him being the one that it is appointed, not elected, because I feel Tinubu appointed all of them.
If that is what is, I'm sorry to have used that language. That's exactly what I want to say. That somebody who appointed you, will you go to that office and do what is against the rule of that person? It is not possible.
Well, if approved by the federal legislation, it will spend 6.992 billion naira on foreign trips and 638 million 535,000.
What's the budget on education? What's the budget on the health sector? What's the budget for the own country alone? Why they are budgeting that amount of money for foreign trips?
So I want to ask this question. Like the president traveling in Nigeria, in Nigeria, spending 638 million naira
for 1 year.
For 1 year.
It is not even enough.
Like he's not spending money, because if he needs a 4, there is 4. He can get 4.
Do you know how many vehicles have traveled with the president? You could remember when the president was first elected. He came to Lagos. When he came to Lagos to appreciate those people that voted in power, right from the Muritala Mohammed Airport, if you could count, almost 200 to 300 vehicles were following the president. And the money to fuel those vehicles is from the national purse. So what are you now saying? For the president of Nigeria to travel out within the country, do you know how many vehicles that will follow the president?
But sir, I want to, because I'm so confused right now. Now that they're talking about minimum wage, and they didn't even make anything, they didn't make mention of anything about minimum wage in the budget.
I say it all the time, that our politicians of nowadays, those that are there, that are ruling the affairs of this country, they don't have the love of the masses. Now, how do you expect them to have the love of the masses in their mind? When Baba Lukan when he was contesting for the president, you know the amount of money that he was throwing out there.
Using it to do business.
To do business. It was like a business now. When you invest, you're investing in a return, expecting the money to yield. Not ordinarily the money coming back to you. The money will also come back with an interest.
Exactly.
You know how much you gave them, how much you gave out to the northern part of the country.
Yes,
when there was a fire outbreak at one of these markets in the northern part of where, if I remember, I will mention that state. The present president then, he was still campaigning, went ahead to go and give them 50 billion naira in that market. There was a fire outbreak at Bodija market in Ibadan. Nothing was given to them. There was a fire outbreak during the NSAS at my 12 here in Lagos. Nothing was given to them as a compensation.
Because he knows where he's doing this business, because he knows that the northerners are more than the south.
Exactly the point. So he was investing then in expecting the money to yield interest. So this is part of the interest. So are you now expecting somebody who gave his money out? Do you think he has turned to Father Christmas to be throwing money
Santa
out there?
Claus.
Most of our kings, of the Yoruba land kings that he was paying a visit to, do you know how much he was giving to those kings? At least from the kings to the chiefs, so for them to have a support.
Well, similarly, the Vice President Shetima will spend a total of 1.847 billion naira on international and local travels. According to the budget proposal, it will spend 1.229 billion naira on foreign trips and 618,399,000 naira on local trips. Another 6.484 billion was provided for Villa Headquarters international and local travels. It consisted of 6.282 billion naira for international travels, 60 million naira for local travels for training, and 140 million naira for local travels. The Villa Headquarters was allocated 40.616 million, this is not million, billion naira in the 2024 budget. 40.616 billion naira
just for the traveling.
That's in the 2024 federal budget.
Federal budget.
Yes, with a capital vote. Yes. So with a capital vote of 12.497 billion naira over 10.334 billion naira, while personnel receiving 163 billion naira. Now, if I'm to look at this billion nairas that was being mentioned in this budget, I will see it like we are not ready to change in Nigeria. Even the masses are not ready, because the war that is coming, I feel this generation in Nigeria, we are cowards. Because we can't face, although the youths are waking up. That was what
I've been saying it from time to time, but it seems as if you always disagree with me.
It's not like I'm disagreeing, because we will be the
one to take the future of this country.
But sir, if we should go deep into this, you started it, sir.
Yes,
it was your generation that started this.
It wasn't our generation that started. It has started before we came.
When you came, you were supposed to fight for it before we came.
We came, we met the system being corrupted. What do you expect a single person to do out of 10,000 people? It is not possible. You remember the time of this NSAS, while we went to the street to lead our protest on police brutality, the way the police are.
Sir, you didn't went to the street. We went to the street with the youth. Yes, you were at home. You were just pressing phone, telling us not. You even telling us not to go out.
Do we live together that will make you to say that I was not on the street to protest?
Sir, I know what I'm saying. When I'm just talking, I'm using synonym, like I'm using a part for a whole and a whole for a part. What I'm trying to say is most of these elderly people were just giving us caution.
Part of the elderly people?
Yes, because I feel you were at home.
I wasn't at home. I was one of those that went into the street.
I didn't see you on Lekki Togi. I didn't see you on
police brutality. And most of the policemen, that is not the topic we are treating today. Most of the policemen were not being trained how to handle masses. You understand what I'm saying? If the leaders are corrupt, what do you expect the police, the body of the body to do? If they are out there embezzling billions of naira, can you imagine somebody that embezzled billions of naira? At the end of the day, when the person was taken to court, he was only charged to pay a fine of 100,000 naira upon all the money that he have embezzled. In the surface of the country.
Someone like Emefiele.
Now.
Well, annual routine maintenance of mechanical and electrical installations in the villa was allocated 9 billion naira. Sir, please, what is it that they are installing? At least the former president left some things there. And do you want to tell me that within that 4 years or 8 years that Buhari used in Aso Rock, all the things that was being installed
has been vandalized? You know, there are some set of when Buhari was there, He have his own gang, he has his own group that are working there. When they were moving, all those things will be taken along with them, hoping that the new president that is going to be elect will bring up his own idea, and we have his own way of putting things right at the Aso Villa. So that is why when you go, do you remember when the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria were being accused of the money that was being set aside to buy some furniture in the
house?
In the house. Then the senator came on board on Channels Television. I watched the interview while the senator was saying they had to replace their TV set. Okay, the person in question now asked, were you not a returning senator? He said he was a returning senator. You just spent 4 years. This is another second time that was giving you the opportunity. What about the refrigerator you bought? What about the chair? Are you saying the chair you used for the period of 4 years is no longer fit for that office? The man couldn't say anything.
Well, another 4.5 billion naira was set aside for Julius Berger liabilities on routine maintenance for 2022-2023 and work as the directed 2022-2023 inclusive of Kaduna work. The construction of office comes for special advisors and senior special advisors was allocated at the sum of 3 billion naira. Another 3 billion naira was provision for the acquisition, renovation, rehabilitation, or furnishing of a state house annex. Now, 3 billion naira, what is it that they are furnishing?
And minimum wage has not been increased. Since all these days, you know how long they have been postponing this meeting that they were doing with the NLC. Nothing was done in the part of that area. Then you know the level of what do I say? How do I put that in English? The level of how ardent the art of our politician is in the face of Nigeria.
Well, I feel the time is coming. Maybe it's not our generation, because I feel even we, the youth, we are still learning, because there is a generation coming that they will have to take all this power from them by force. Because I don't know the reason why
if you could remember when Babalokan was campaigning, the former president, the present president of Nigeria now, when he was campaigning, he was telling the youth, there was a place he went for a campaign that said, if if you know you want to be the president of this country, it's better you go and wait for your time. A Melokan. That he has been serving them over for 30 years. This is his own time for him to be served.
Well, let's move on to the next headline here, where we see Oshiomhole saying, it's not like he's saying, he's warning the NLC and federal government, saying no Christmas if workers aren't paid 35,000 naira minimum wage. Edo North Senator Adams Oshiomhole has said there is a need for both the public and private sector to pay workers the new minimum wage of 35,000 naira before Christmas. Oshiomhole warned that there will be no Christmas celebrations if workers are not paid 35,000 naira minimum wage. Now, if he says there is not going to be any Christmas celebration,
there won't be Christmas celebration. It's when you have your money that you are going to celebrate.
No, what he's trying to say is like there won't be anything like celebration in Nigeria.
So
that means they are going to work on that day.
Maybe that is exactly what he's saying.
Is that to fight for minimum wage?
No, maybe he's talking about the senators, that the senator will not go on holiday. Maybe that is exactly what he's saying, because I can't say that to the workers that has not been paid, that their salary, even the present salary that they are collecting, has not been paid. You will now tell the workers that they should not go on Christmas celebration.
Well, he spoke at the 8th Quadrennial Delegates Conference of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institution, NASU, in Abuja. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the federal government have been going back and forth over the need to improve workers' wages in the country. NLC had severally threatened nationwide strike in a bid to prevail on the federal government to increase the wages of workers. Oshiomhole, speaking at the event, said, now that you have 35,000 naira, there are workers from different states. Are all the federal or the state governments implementing? The answer is no. Why should it be no, and why are they at peace? Your members are not at peace in the state. It should not be a selective application. The 35,000 naira must affect all workers, It has to go round all workers in Nigeria, whether public or private. That is the logic of nationwide strike. I said it. I said if Oshiomhole could not, chook mouth, as you do say it, and as the break, if he did not put mouth in this,
Oshiomhole then was a very active member. I don't know who got in
Ajaero.
Ajaero was just like a rubber stamp president for the NLC, because I've not seen his activeness, I've not seen his work since he became the NLC president. But if Oshiomhole is waking up at this point in time, well, let's give kudos to him. If he's not just saying what he's saying, just to make the workers think as if he's part of them. Because you could remember when Oshiomhole joined the APC, it was when they were campaigning, he said, join APC, your sin is forgiven. Oshiomhole has to go by the rules and law of APC, forgetting that he was coming from somewhere. You know, when Oshiomhole was the leader, was the NLC president, he was the one that normally comes out. In fact, then the administration, the government then knew the impact of Oshiomhole.
Sir, I said something, sorry to cut in. I said something when Ajaero was being beaten and brutalized that was a few weeks ago.
Have you ever seen anybody?
They can't even hear Oshiomhole.
Not to talk of beating Oshiomhole.
But I said it because he was corrupted.
If you could go deep down, you know the guy is corrupted. Maybe the guy has been given money they has been compensated for him to have waived off some strike from the surface of the country, that he was not coming out to jam talk or to do blah blah blah. That's the reason why they gave the order that he should be beaten off.
Well, Oshiomhole said, please tell the NLC president that those are the issues that they must solve, so that this December nobody goes home without that 35,000 naira. Whether such a worker is working for the federal, state, local government or private sector, that 35,000 naira must be paid. If you don't pay, there will be no Christmas for you as an employer, whether public or private sector.
Yes,
so how is this going to happen?
No, if they don't pay, which means the celebration will not go on the way it's supposed to go on. The workers that was not paid now, do you think the worker will go to the place where they sell chickens or where they sell rice that he wanted to buy?
That doesn't affect the federal government in any way, because they
have their own money there.
Yes, it doesn't affect them. I don't know the reason why we never say like we should punish ourselves before we punish the federal government. Because if you don't punish us, they won't feel it.
Listen to me. If you don't celebrate Christmas, how does that affect the federal?
They will go abroad to celebrate. If you
celebrate, how does that affect them? Some of them can bet in Nigeria this morning. In the evening, they will tell you they want to go and relax in United States of America. Look at the President Joe Biden when he was elected as the President of America. The first thing he made, the first announcement he made was that any private sector, both the government and the private sector, that cannot pay so amount of dollar per 1 hour should fold up or should hand over the company to the federal government.
Yeah. Well, in the comment section, Elias Kazim said, we Nigerians are already living in hell. Yes, to be sincere. Because if you check, everybody is shouting. Even since January that Emefiele started this cashless policy.
No amount of cry, no amount of shout that the masses will shout that the federal government will even think of what you are doing. The only thing that can make the federal government move was that for them not to have received their daily money. That's the only thing that can move the
daily revenue.
The daily revenue. If you like, let the whole Nigerian die. Nothing happens.
But I feel, what do you think we can do to this case? Because we can't just keep talking and talking every day, and these people keep giving us that deaf air. Like we should just keep shouting.
Action needed to be taken. We need. You see, when you talk of APC, when you talk of PDP, when you talk of Labour Party, they are best of the same feather. Have you ever seen anybody that contested during the last presidential election that have not held some public offices in the government parastatals? Now, if you want to talk of Obi has been the former president, governor of Anambra.
Yes.
If you talk of Atiku, he has been a vice president for good 8 years in the service of the country. If you talk of Baba Lokon, that the present president, he has been a governor in Lagos State for good 8 years, and he rules the affairs of Lagos State. Let me come out and say the whole Lagos State is in his pocket. Because if you want to become the governor of Lagos State, if you are out...
Even just chairman of the local government.
Chairman, no, let's talk about councillor. Just councillor. If you are not in line with them, you can't go anywhere. We need a fresh people. We need a fresh people that mobilize themselves and come out in masses, at least to take the future of this country.
So do you think there is any fresh in Nigeria? Everybody is bed of the same feather. Anybody called politician in Nigeria, forget it. You can't trust them because what they will tell you is not what they will do when they get to the post. You know, that's the reason why we should, I don't know, maybe they should just use a caterpillar to caterpillarize everybody in Nigeria. That's the only way this country can be normal.
We were open for a better future very soon.
Well, this is where we're going to be ending it on News Review today. Don't forget that the sponsor for this show is Nokpa Abbas and Kim Victor Nigeria Enterprises. My name is Ahmed Abbas Olatoje, but you can call me Sidon J. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for joining us on the show. We'll see you again tomorrow. Be good and be hardworking. Bye.